What it do, man? It's your boy Battle Truth coming to you live and direct from the Battle Truth headquarters. Let's get right off into this, man. So yesterday, it definitely went down in the Oval Office, man. Uh, President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, man, had a meeting with Donald Trump, man, and I'm telling you, boy, must see TV. Okay, I got to be honest. This has been one of the most exciting presidential campaigns we probably have ever witnessed for the most part in American history. And Trump is only like, he's not even 40 days in and have done a lot within that time. And let's just be honest, man, every time they have been opening up to the American people the affairs and the negotiations and the politics and signing of bills that we actually seeing him taking care of business, like literally taking care of business. And it's not talk, it's actually action. However, Volodymyr Zelensky, man, after the interview, I mean, not after the interview, but after the meeting at the Oval Office with Donald Trump, man, he then go on Fox News and do an interview after that. And in this, he exposed something that President Trump been talking about since he been back in the office. The government corruption of the money being actually transferred through other channels, and there's no sign of where is that. Volodymyr Zelensky actually, when asked the question, because remember, at this time, he mad there. He's still mad. Him and Trump just got into, Trump and the vice president just had like some words, like back to back. We're going to touch on all that. So he's still, to some degree, feeling some type of way. So in his still anger, he says something. Let's listen to the question.
Americans are worried about where the money has gone.
Yeah.
Will there be a very rigorous accounting of where the money has gone? It seems like there is some question about whether there's corruption or sold military equipment.
No, it can't be so. 100 billions we've got during 3 years.
183 from the U.S.
Okay. He said 100 billion we got from the United States, 100 billion in 3 years. Then the guy who interviewing him say, hey, actually it's 183 billion. It's 183 billion. Watch Volodymyr Zelensky response after he said this. Watch his response.
100 billions we've got during 3 years.
183 from the U.S.
Yeah. Now, on the paper, in the documents, yes, but we have in.
See that? Notice what he just said. No, we didn't get 183 billion. We got 100 billion. He said on the paper, on the paper, that's what they saying on the paper. We gave them 183 billion. He said we only got 100 billion. Let's run it back. Let's run it back just in case people missed it. Let's run it back.
Rigorous accounting of where the money has gone. It seems like there is some question about whether there's corruption or sold military equipment.
No, it can't be so. 100 billions we've got during 3 years.
183 from the U.S.
Yeah. Now, on the paper, in the documents, yes, but we have, in fact, because 67 came like a weapon. It came through the border. It's checked and it's fixed by everybody, and we shared it not once with the American side.
Okay, so there you go again, just so that you can hear what he said. No, on paper, that's what it was said. We got 100 billion. Yes, they said they gave us 183 billion. That's on paper that y'all got to deal with, but we only got 100 billion. Where's the other 83 billion? 83 billion. Think about that. $83 billion unanswered for. And he clearly made that clear. We only got 100 billion, and we can prove step by step of what happened with that 100 billion. Now the other 83 billion, we can't give an account for where that at. This is exactly what Trump been talking about, of what's going on in the government corruption that he wants to clean up and hold people accountable for all this money that's being channeled through these deals and legislation being passed, and yet the American people have no idea of what's going on. And this is the thing about politics. When people are getting involved in politics and want to get involved in politics, yes, the government is big business. Everybody want to put their hands on the bank to actually have these deals going on by which money is channeled, and they go into a lot of other accounts that once it leaves the United States and then go into the hands of other countries, then these other countries can actually cover you, like what he's talking about. So they signed off through the Biden administration $183 billion. He only got 100 billion. The other 83 billion is unaccounted for. Why do these things happen? See, this is what they do in politics. So in politics, when they pass some bills and they're doing all this foreign relief and funding for other countries, they strike deals with their head administrators and presidents. And behind the scene, this is what they do. We're going to sign off 183 billion. You keep 100 billion, and we're going to take the other 83 billion, and we need you to basically like channel it through y'all banks and things like that, where we cover. That's why most of these politicians, when they retire and when they out, they have made so many deals in foreign relations and things like that. They have all type of accounts on offshore countries and things like that, by which they is comfortable for the rest of their life in making these deals with other countries through their bankings in their countries that the United States can't touch. That's what they do. And this is what he literally exposing without even exposing, but literally letting you know. This is what clearly being seen, and why the question was asked. The American people want to know where all this money is going. You mean to tell me we funding a war that for the most part we're not involved in, and we have gave y'all over 100 billion, 183 billion. And then when he asked that, because this question is like the American people, he's asking on behalf of the American people for him to give an account of the money that's been actually signed off for your country to help aid in the war and to help the rebuilding of your country. Then he said it's only 100 billion, and he can show through records and documentation where that money went, even though there's 83 billion missing. Do you understand what's going on here? And it's things like that you see why politics is big business. Everybody want to get their hand on the bank to actually be involved in major transactions. Think about this. These persons that's running for office and have the seats in senates and Congress and all type of powers or positions in our governments, jobs, only yearly salaries is in the hundreds of thousands for the most part. 100,000, over 100,000, maybe 200,000 at the most a year. And yet, how they making multi-millions, mass multi-millions unaccounted for? How? If your job description only saying you only supposed to be getting paid $100,000 to $200,000 a year. And yet, how you doing this without investments, without hitting the lottery, without somebody dying and leaving you an inheritance, just by you sitting in a seat that your yearly salary is 100-something thousand, and for some reason you have transferred 100-something thousand into multi-millions of dollars without an investment, without an inheritance. Government corruption. And this is what they were talking about cleaning up. This is what they were talking about cleaning up in the Trump administration, and how they were finding so much fraud going on. Yeah, I like the fact that he doing his thing and taking care of business the right way. That was the whole purpose, and why I really like him making Elon Musk a part of his cabinet and administration. I liked it that. One of the reasons why I like that is because you got like the richest man in the world, right? A part of your administration and cabinet, by which it ain't even about money for him. That man don't care about money. That man on a whole nother level, okay? So that's why they've been finding the government corruption of the money being spent. Of people who literally stealing from the government that's not in position like them. That's not in position like them. By which they found all this fraud through Social Security and all this fraud through administrations of people actually multi-millionaires in positions of jobs that only required them to make $100,000. From the judges. Come on, man. Let's just be real. And that's why this stuff is big business, and why people who ignorantly don't see the power of politics and why your vote count and why elections do matter. Stop buying into the lie of them trying to tell you that your vote don't count and that elections is rigged to the point that they can decide who get the seat regardless to what you do. That's not true. Don't buy into those type of lies at all. At all. And we clearly see what's going on. And we always knew what was going on. It's time to put people in positions and seats to clean up this mess that the American people continue to have to pay for. They continue to raise our taxes and deduct from our pockets as a means of trying to cover up their stealing, their fraudery. And they need to be brought to justice. And we're seeing all this corruption, and it's terrible. Signing off and giving each other pardons on their way out of office, like Biden did, giving his family them pardons so they won't be brought up on charges when found out to be corrupted. Let's just be real. It ain't about blue and red. It's about the truth. It's about the truth. And as Americans, the blue and red supposed to work together for the better of the people. It don't matter. It don't even supposed to be blue and red. It's supposed to be just truth, not a division like Crips and Bloods banging in politics. Because that's what it seems like sometimes. Like it's the Crips and Bloods banging in politics, the blue and red. And guess who hurt the most? The people. The people. And people need to come together and be united and stand on truth, even though we know that far-fetched and that it never really happened. Come on. If they betrayed Jesus and backstabbed him, and come on. And he was God. So you know we don't stand a chance. But yeah, it's things like this that's clearly seen, that's clearly understood. You know, and people was waking up and their eyes are opened and they starting to get more involved into the understanding and knowledge of politics to understand what's going on. Look at what just happened in this last election. So many eyes have been opened. So many people turned from blue to red. So many people who they didn't expect to vote Republican did it, who once was true blue and were true defenders of the left. But as a result of morality, and morality swung the vote from the immorality that the left was trying to force upon people, of which people just don't want to be a part of. Those are other discussions we need to have. Even when dealing with the borders, so many Hispanics who once was diehard true blues turned Republican as a result of those borders being unprotected and allowing all the illegal aliens to come in and flood their community, because that's exactly what was going to happen. They were going to flood the Latino communities and actually be a hindrance and violation to the ones that's legally here. That's exactly what ended up happening. So a lot of these things need to be discussed. And a lot of these things really need to be put on the forefront. At the end of the day, it is what it is. It's your boy Battle Truth. Ain't my judgment, that's a question. It's yours.
Bustin' no streets for you, so leave me waiting on you. Bustin' no streets for you, so leave me waiting on you. Bustin' no streets for you, so leave me waiting on you. Bustin'